All right. We are live. All right. I'm Sam here with the Hubsessed community. And today I have world-renowned, world-famous LinkedIn ad expert, AJ Wilcox.
I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me. And what a kind intro. I might be world famous in the eyes of my mother. That's about it.
Yes. You know, one of my favorite parts about AJ's podcast is when you read your reviews. I just love it. And I love when your coworkers and friends hop on there and write you a funny review. You've got a great sense of humor.
It's embarrassing to have people, to have to read nice stuff about yourself. But I force myself to do it because it's funny. I think I would enjoy listening to someone turning bright red. Yeah.
Totally. I love it. And it's authentic too. So yes. Well, so today we are going to talk about our LinkedIn ad strategy. I've got a couple questions queued up for AJ, but first I want to know 2020 midsummer, what is on your mind, AJ? What is going on in LinkedIn ad worlds?
Well, it's interesting. LinkedIn just released what I would consider their biggest release of the last, I'd say almost 3 years. They released engagement retargeting. And what's so cool about this is, you know, every other platform has had engagement retargeting for quite a while. LinkedIn has been stuck with cookie-based retargeting for a long time. And it's not very good. Like half the browsers don't even accept a cookie. And so LinkedIn, from a retargeting perspective, it was just kind of boring. And as soon as they announced engagement retargeting, this has been like, I don't know, 8-9 months ago, we were part of the pilot for it. It was where you can retarget people based off of the actions they took on LinkedIn. And it just released, it's probably been a couple months ago.
Okay.
And now we can retarget people who open and submit lead generation forms right on the platform. We can retarget people based off of how much of a video they've watched.
Wow.
And this is just the beginning. I think eventually we'll be able to do things like retarget people who visited your company page or your personal page. The list can really go on and on, but I'm really excited about that one.
Yeah, that is awesome. And so have you started using the re-engagement feature with a lot of your clients now? And what are the results you're seeing?
Yeah, it's pretty early because as many of you already know, you have to have at least 300 people in an audience for LinkedIn retargeting to work. And so that's getting 300 people to open a form or watch 25% or 50% of a video. So a lot of our audiences are still building, but the ones we have launched, it definitely looks like cost per click is cheaper. I don't know how much less yet.
Okay.
But we know anytime you target a warm audience, they're always going to be cheaper and respond easier.
Right. Yes, I was listening to your 2020, what we should expect from LinkedIn. So that's an awesome feature. We love that, especially in inbound world. It's like, let's talk to the people who are right or a good fit for you.
Yes. And what made me so happy, I mean, everyone at LinkedIn is working from home right now.
Right.
And so I thought for sure everything on the roadmap was just going to stop. And in that episode, it was episode 3 of my podcast, I talked about the roadmap. And I think I told everyone that engagement retargeting was going to be launched in October. And look, we got it in, I think it was late June or early July. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And you actually, I think you say like, let's plan 2 months after they say. So it's like, yes, LinkedIn, you are exceeding our expectations.
Yes. Keep that up, please.
Yes, please. Okay, so we'll do a couple tiered questions here, but let's talk about, I want to know for our members, you know, our members are always looking at like how to become more efficient, better strategy with their marketing. And so I want to know, this is a business's first time stepping onto LinkedIn ad platform. What are the fundamental checklists? Don't leave home without. What are you gonna say?
Okay, so I've got this acronym. It's AMO. I pronounce it like ammo. Like, make sure you bring your ammo to social media advertising. And it's the 3 things that every social media campaign needs. And we can go into detail on each one of them. But A is your audience. It's who you're targeting. And that's the reason why we go to LinkedIn. We have this amazing targeting where we can reach our ideal audience. And then M is your message. It's basically what your prospect sees, the ad copy you choose, the imagery, the ad format. And that one's not such a big deal. But O is the offer, and it's the most important thing. It's what are you asking someone to do? because if you ask a cold audience, come and like read a blog post, that's no problem. Everyone's going to be willing to do that, and you'll have a lot of people willing to click. If you ask someone, hey, come and buy something, or hop on the phone with my sales rep, most people are going to say, whoa, too much too soon, bro. Right. Like, yeah, not willing yet. That's asking a little bit too much. And so it's balancing what is the right call to action. And in LinkedIn, the extremes don't work very well. You don't want to pay LinkedIn's like $8 to $11 a click to send someone to blog posts, because that's not trackable. It's not sustainable. And no one's going to click if you try to send them to a sales rep. So where you want to do is send them right there in the middle to a lead magnet, some kind of gated content, and then follow up with them after.
Okay. Yep. I like that. And this has been on my mind. And as I was on LinkedIn today, I was like, I'm going to ask AJ what he thinks about this. And although I don't think it's LinkedIn ad, I think it's around strategy and campaigns. And, this new LinkedIn messaging that is popping up. It's whenever you accept a connection, all of a sudden this message pops up. What do you think about this? What do you think?
Man, I think it's a total plague, honestly. LinkedIn's on this crazy rise right now where I think there's a lot of entrepreneurs and sales folks who all of a sudden realized, wow, when I share stuff on LinkedIn, it goes viral. A ton more people see it than if I share the same thing on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. And so with this appreciation for what the platform is organically, more people want to come and spend more time, which provides more value for everyone. And those who are trying to take advantage of it by basically mass spamming, what they're doing is kind of ruining the experience for everyone. I hate feeling bamboozled because someone wrote a kind of clever connection request and I go, okay, this person wants to talk to me. And then I accept it and it's just boom, sales pitch, instant disconnect. So I'm not a fan.
Yeah. And and I say this because I work with the Insight Studio, and we've used Octopus in a couple different scenarios. And I think there's a well-crafted and sometimes just expanding your audience for something like Hubsest, which is a free online community. There's differences, but these messages that just start spamming my inboxes immediately when I connect, I'm like, I can't imagine this will go well. I mean, so yeah.
Yeah. They turn it into a numbers game, and it's not. What we see is if you are willing to churn and burn through your entire network to sell people, you will be left, 2 or 3 years later with a network who no one will interact with your content. No one will talk to you. It's kind of like the used car salesman screaming at you on the lot, and you just kind of shade your eyes and walk by.
Right.
It's kind of pissing in your own oatmeal. You're really, anyway, not.
Yeah. Okay.
From my family.
AJ says no. AJ says no. Okay.
Don't do it.
Well, listen. Yes. Okay. So let's go back to our ad strategy. So for the members who have already used LinkedIn, they're like, this is really expensive. It's much more than our Facebook. We understand. Yes, it's better quality. Well, let's revise and let's relook at our strategy. Are you going to change your ammo? Are you going to change the ammo you're bringing in? Or how does that kind of strategy change for someone who's already been on this platform and already done some advertising?
Yeah, I think your ammo is it's always like, it's the 3 legs of a stool. Yeah. You can't advertise on social without that. And if one of those legs is shorter or breaking, it needs to be replaced. So every once in a while, you'll have your audience and your offer is amazing, but your message, people are getting tired of it because they've seen the ad now for a month. Mm-hmm. And so then we have to do like a refresh of the ads. You can keep the same offer, but just do a new image, say something new about the offer, and make people take a second look.
Okay.
So I think that's what it is balancing those 3 elements, watching your click-through rates and your conversion rates. And anytime something starts to fail, put your attention on that and try to fix that single leg of the stool.
Okay, got it. So, we're talking about watching for the failure. What is a safe watch period? Like, how often are you checking in on your ad campaigns?
That one's a little harder because we're an ad agency that only does LinkedIn ads. So we are in there all day long. But if I'm going to advise someone who let's say they're managing multiple channels and they can't afford to just spend all day on the platform refreshing and watching for things. It usually takes about 27 to 33 days for an ad to tire out an audience, or an audience to get tired of that ad. So we plan, as long as we launch and things look good, we'll probably leave it for almost a month, maybe even a month in some cases, and just put it on the calendar. Oop, got to refresh ads at the end of the month. If you launch though, and let's say you're 3 or 4 days in and you have a really poor click-through rate on your ads, you didn't hit it with that audience. Something is off and you got to try something new. So it's like every 3 days we'll try something new if what we did sucks. And that's on the ad side. If you're not converting, it's usually after about $1,000 in spend where we go, ooh, conversion rate's looking low here. Let's focus on the landing page or the offer, whatever's going to make the biggest difference.
Yeah. Okay. Because they're clicking through, but for whatever reason.
Yeah. I think of it like 2 hurdles between you and the finish line. It's like the first hurdle is getting people to click on your ads. And then the second hurdle is, once they've clicked, getting them to convert. And so if you see a low click-through rate, they're stumbling over the first hurdle, but you might still be able to get them over the second. If you get over the first hurdle and the second one is your conversion rates, and everyone's willing to click on your ad, but no one becomes a lead, that's obviously a huge waste too.
Yeah, totally. And part of what I'm thinking about, and I've heard from another podcast that I'm listening to, is adding a video onto your landing page, telling that person exactly what it is they're signing up for, what it is they're downloading. Are you seeing your clients do any type of video strategy on their landing page?
Yeah, video can work really well on a landing page. And people are kind of particular about their media. Not everyone will consume things in the same way. So for instance, on our landing pages, or on our website, I have some pages with just an audio clip. So if you would rather listen than read, then you've got that option. But then I have also all the text there so that if you're a reader and not a listener and you don't want to go grab your headphones, you can consume it that way. Yeah. So I think the same thing applies to landing pages. If people like to watch video, yeah, give it to them. Right. But if they're not big video listeners, I would list it out too.
Totally. Yeah. Great call. Okay. And God, I felt like I had a question in the midst there. Maybe it'll come back to me. Okay. Another thing I wanted to know is, do you have a plugin that you use alongside your LinkedIn ad strategy? I mean, I think that the LinkedIn kind of dashboard reporting can sometimes be like not as great as some other platforms. So just curious if you're using any type of plugin.
Oh man, we use so many. Okay. We do have clients who use HubSpot, and you can pipe everything right into the HubSpot dashboard. We use both AdStage and Supermetrics, and both of those are ways of getting your data into an external source. So like we can get them into Google Data Studio, for instance, and have a cool dashboard for our clients that they can always see what's going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, if you make an extension to LinkedIn ads in some way, I want to use it. So we try to use everything.
Okay, so your top 3 are what was it? Data strategy?
Oh, Supermetrics. AdStage. And probably HubSpot. HubSpot would be a close third there.
There we go. We love it. We're HubSpot advocates over here.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. So what is one common mistake that you see businesses make that's repeatable, that you can help our members, like, just don't do that. Don't step there.
Can I list 2 just because they're all in
list 2? Yes.
Okay, cool. It's all the same flow. And I'll give you some background here. If you go into Facebook ads and you don't know what you're doing, you just go and create your first ad set and take all the defaults, because you don't know what these things mean. You just take whatever's pre-checked. You're not going to have a bad experience. You might pay too much. It might not be the most amazing campaign you've ever run, but it's a pretty generous platform. You'll be okay. If you do the same thing with LinkedIn, though, you'll totally get ripped off. Okay. There are 2 things by default in your campaign that are poison. So the first is, as you're scrolling down, there will be a checkbox called Enable Audience Expansion. And the first thing you should do in every campaign is uncheck that box.
Okay.
it just gives them free license to stick whoever they want in that audience and muddy it.
Yeah.
And if I'm paying a premium for my clicks, like $8 to $11 a click, dang, I want to be real specific about who that audience is. I don't want to leave it to chance.
Right.
And then the next is, as you keep scrolling down, you get to like the bidding and budgeting section. The initial type of bidding they've selected for you is called auto bidding. And most don't know this, but auto bidding is just CPM. It's CPM that you don't choose a bid, like they change your bid for you. And what we know is that CPM bidding is more expensive than CPC bidding about 90% of the time. So it's not quite like the other networks where whether you choose to pay CPM or CPC, usually it's about the same. On LinkedIn, it's super lopsided. So choose CPC. So you're saying, LinkedIn, you take all the risk. If no one clicks on my ad, I don't want to pay a dime.
Yeah.
And then bid considerably lower than what they recommend. And you only need to increase your bid if you're just not getting enough traffic.
Okay. All right. Those are two great tips. I know, and I was actually looking over did you speak for Inbound HubSpot one year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm speaking again this year too.
Oh, you are? Great. I will be attending virtually. And I was looking at your little slide and I love the little emojis you add onto it.
The poop emoji. Oh man.
The poop emoji. Yeah.
They fixed one of the things I put poop emojis on this year. So LinkedIn's making some strides.
Good for LinkedIn. I mean, they can afford to. They are just on the rise,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, the where I bring in my personality to this podcast, I teach yoga and I'm interested in, what makes people tick. And also, you put so much time into your podcast. I think you say you do around like 6 hours of research.
Yeah.
So tell us, how do you stay concentrated? Also, for those of you who are just listening, AJ is on a treadmill desk right now, walking. And he told me at one point he was walking 26 miles a work day. So, okay, I might have just taken your stride there, but what do you do to stay focused? And what is something that has become part of your like daily business, but also kind of mindfulness, how you keep yourself in the center?
Yeah, mindfulness is something I'm working on at the moment. That one's always been a tough one for me. But what has always kept me sane is movement. And that's why I'm on the treadmill desk. So what I do is I wake up at 5 a.m. every day, and my wife and kids don't wake up till like 8. So that means I get a solid 3 hours to work out, to get projects and stuff done before there's any distraction. And the other ones, I've had ADHD my whole life. I didn't realize until about 2 years ago, and I finally got on medication for it.
Yeah.
And now I get locked in, like things actually get done and they get finished. Yeah. So early rising, exercise, Adderall.
Got it. There you go. So, and what time do you go to bed to maintain this 5 a.m. wake up?
I try really hard to do 10:30, but most of the time I'm not quite in bed by 10:30.
I know it's hard. Well, you're in Utah, but in Montana, it doesn't get dark till 10:15 in the summer. And it's like, why am I in bed?
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Montana is so beautiful. I know. Super jealous. We just drove through last summer for a vacation. It's amazing. It
really is. It's a special place. So is Utah. Yeah.
Yeah. We have some national parks there. We get down there about once a year.
Yeah. The desert, the mountains. I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your knowledge with us. It's been a pleasure.
Hey, have me back anytime, Sam.
Okay, I will. And tell us, where can I'll link your podcast. What else how can our readers connect with you, listeners connect with you?
Yeah, if you want to connect on LinkedIn, just make sure that you customize the connection request to say, hey, I heard you on Sam's show. That would be great. Then I'll know. Otherwise, I just kind of ignore everything that doesn't have a reason to connect. The podcast is a great one. If you're listening to this, I'm sure you're a podcast listener. So check out the LinkedIn ads show. I put a lot into that one, and it goes deep. So otherwise, if you go to our website, b2linked.com, you can fill out the form on any of those pages, and it just goes directly to my inbox, and I'm not a sales guy. So feel free to reach out, ask anything you want.
Great. Thank you so much, AJ, and have a great rest of your day walking.
Thanks. Party on.
Yeah, party on.